Is there anybody just completely worn out at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is the beauty of spring break, is that we're all just striving to get there so we can take a break of some sort.
And this week is a really nice break too, because you guys don't really have anything besides the synchronous session, and then next week we're off. So it's kind of a double a little bit. Yes.
Well, so tell me any questions that you guys have with the VoiceThread activities.
I love them. I think it's much more personable, and it's, for me, it's a lot less time consuming, but we're getting the same things out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm getting more out of it than I would in where we would type it all out.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion though, but I really like it.
You know what I love about it is, you know, if you're more of a verbal learner, if you like to listen and speak to seek understanding, it's a really great tool for that. So I do like it for that. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it. Are there any concerns with it or glitches or anything? Like I said, this is our first time to try it, and so we're really counting on your feedback to know if to keep doing it in future classes, or if we should maybe do it for certain activities and those kind of things.
I did have a question about it though. If we have a group member and we put a placeholder slide and we comment to their slide because there hasn't been any activity, if they come in and have to delete that slide, do we all need to go back in and re-comment at the end of the week, like Saturday and Sunday?
What do you think about that?
That's a good question. We kind of have it in there that if somebody has not, if you're talking, could you maybe mute? I think we have some background noise. But if somebody hasn't done it by Thursday and you as the team lead have to go in and put that placeholder in, then personally, I think that kind of negates you having to go back and comment again, because you know, you guys did your work in the beginning of the week, and it's good to follow up, but we don't expect you to wait around till Sunday night. And we did have a couple who dropped like this week, so it's pretty late in the semester. So I'll take them out of your groups and let you know. I actually did a drop form this morning, so we will get that, you know, wrapped up. And then there was another member who was not sure if they were going to drop, but looking at, you know, the work that's not being done, so I'm assuming that person dropped as well. So we'll get those updated, but no, and you guys as team leads have really done well at reaching out and letting us know. So we appreciate that. It's a little different than Google Docs, as though I can't go back and see revision history. So that's the one of the cons of doing it this way. So if somebody does delete, there's no way to go back and, you know, restore or see who did it or that sort of thing. Now you can't delete other people's slides, so that's a good thing. So I guess if you create their slide, they can't delete it. So it would just be an extra slide. So that might hopefully help, but I don't know. We haven't ran into that yet. That's a great question and something we need to look at. But you can delete your own content, but not someone else's. So.
Okay, hopefully. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just thought of that.
I just wanted to make sure.
Right, as I was talking, I thought of that. So were you the one that emailed earlier? There was kind of
no, I haven't emailed.
Okay,
actually, Julie, I was actually the one that emailed earlier.
Okay, that's right.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Baker and Ms. Ward, I had your class last semester, and we did the key point entries where we just tap them out. And I know from a personal experience, I'm experiencing a lot more, it's more motivating for me to use VoiceThread than just going in and typing. So just some feedback on that end. I've really enjoyed the interaction piece of using VoiceThread this semester.
That's good to hear, Nancy.
I also think it's helping me feel comfortable recording my voice and recording video, because I know I want to do that next year, but I'm not super comfortable. So it's getting me past that feeling of it has to be perfect.
Yeah, it gets you over that perfectionism hump that plagues us a lot of times. And, you know, if you're going to teach online in any form or fashion, or deliver any kind of content online, you have to get over I remember the first time I ever taught an online class, I literally would spend hours and hours and hours editing out every single and trying to make it sound perfect. And you just don't have time for that. So I'm glad that we're using a tool that kind of helps you understand what it's like to create content.
And it's supposed to be personable anyway. And when we're really in a classroom with kids, we say and mess up. And so it's okay that that's in a recording. Like the kids, I don't know, it doesn't bother them, but it bothers me, but I'm getting over it.
Yeah.
Once everyone was able to get into the account, I know there was a little frustration because when I shared it just as public, it didn't work as well. So once you were in with the correct email address and everything, has anybody struggled with anything? They've all looked really good. And so I haven't gotten emails or seen Google Plus, you know, any frustrations, but I just wanted to check and see if anybody was.
I've just had, you know, some things going on, and I'm finally getting used to getting into it. And, you know, I really like it, and I really appreciate, you know, my team members, because they've really been there for me. And I you know, I'm guilty of, you know, not posting on time because I've just, you know, had a lot of stuff going on. But, you know, I'm going to get better at that. I know that I figured out how to upload, and that's what I was trying to do, but I just couldn't upload the actual slide. I didn't know how to put like the writing on it, so I just got an infographic. Yeah. So that's where I kind of got stuck, but I went ahead and did it. But, you know, it was not, you know, I tried getting better on it. And like I had, you know, spoken with both of y'all about it.
I really like the app as well. There was some strugglers with Macs. It works on my Mac, so that's always how it goes. It's like when you take your car to the, you know, the automotive place and it doesn't do it. So my Mac, it worked perfect on, but I know there were several Macs that were an issue. But it works on my iPhone, and it seemed to work on all of your phones as well. So the app is really nice because you can do it, you know, right there on your phone. You can see everything. It's a good option as well. If you haven't used the app, it's there, and you can pretty much do everything with the creation as well. So.
I'm on a Mac, and it's hit or miss if the voice works. The video always works, but it's just the recording, the sound. I don't know. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. I just use my phone when I need to record voice.
Hey, on your Mac, I have a question. I had trouble getting it to record my voice using Internet Explorer, so I had to end up actually using Google Chrome only, and it won't ever take anything from Internet Explorer voice-wise. And so that's one trouble I had, and I thought maybe if I used a different browser. So that worked, but so that may be an option for other people too if needed.
Michelle and Garrett are on chat, and Michelle and Garrett, what browser do you use on a Mac?
I use Google Chrome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
I use Chrome. I haven't had any issues.
Okay.
On my Mac, you have to use Google Chrome.
Yeah, Google Chrome seems to work the best. I have Firefox or Safari, not Firefox. Chrome has worked better.
Okay. That's
on my PC, I use Firefox, and it seems to work really well.
Okay, cool.
And if you're on a Mac, sometimes having your headphones in will help too if it can't pick up your voice. So.
Yeah.
I have not tried my headphones, so I will try that.
Also, check your settings. Sometimes the setting on the voice input is not right. Mm-hmm. So the first time I used my Mac, even with Google Chrome, my setting wasn't right. So I went to the settings, and the voice output, it was on input only, and it wasn't on the output.
Yeah.
So I went to go to your settings and check your settings.
So we'll compile all these for next time we use the tool in this class or in a future class. We'll compile all these tips because they're great. You know, another thing I like about it is that Julie posts like the link to every single group. So I see groups kind of getting competitive, or, you know, you watch another group and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then I see it in another group. So I think that's pretty neat too, kind of a way to share out to the whole class.
I also like that you can thread your comments. So we have to make so many comments on each thing that we post, but I like that you can thread specific comments. So if you're really commenting on the video, you can thread those and you're not confused going in to seeing where that comment is supposed to go to. So that's something that I've really appreciated.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about philosophy docs. And I didn't hear any groans, so that's good.
My mic's on mute.
Yeah, mine is too.
Well, so how is the philosophy doc coming along? Remember this philosophy doc is something you're building as we go. So I know some people, again, the perfectionism thing, if it's not perfect from the get-go, it makes you nervous. But how do you feel about the way the philosophy doc is kind of starting to take shape?
I actually have a question about the philosophy doc.
Perfect.
Quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, at the end of our syllabus, it says like to submit the philosophy doc in its entirety. Is it supposed to kind of flow from like the first paragraph to like the next entry, even though we're doing these like question entries separately? Is it supposed to kind of flow as like one huge like thesis philosophy doc?
Not at all. In fact, I would prefer if you keep the question headings there for yourself. Like later on down the line, I've heard from students in the past who say they come back and they revisit this a year later, or when they need it. So you need to be able to know what question it is that you answered. And same here when we're looking at it. So I would say it does not need to be a thesis style paper at all. And don't move the question headings, because that kind of mucks things up and makes it hard for us to know what question you're answering. So good question.
I like the application piece of it, to where it's not just answering the question straight from the book, but it's really thinking about what you're already doing or what you want to do. Mm-hmm. So I know that that's caused me to think about what I am doing in my with my kids now, and based on what I'm reading, what I can go ahead and start applying to them even this semester. So it's really it's opened up even some dialogues with my director at school on, hey, here's some things to think about that we hadn't maybe thought of before. So I'm really enjoying being able to do that application part and apply it to my own teaching.
Yeah, that's the most important part, right?
Yes.
One of the questions that I've gotten a couple times is when I make comments on someone's and they kind of come back, and I know it's frustrating to get constructive criticism sometimes, but sometimes they'll come back and say, I thought it was my philosophy doc. You're kind of telling me what to put. And I'm not telling you what to add, but what we're trying to do is to make sure that you're getting the whole picture of the text and then applying it, not like short one sentence answers. We want you to show that there's a deeper understanding and kind of, flush it out and make sure that you are picking up the content we want you to for the course to be successful. So it is your document, and they're all so very different, the way you comprehend and understand something. But we want more than one, just a one sentence answer. There's no limit or maximum minimum type thing, but just to see that understanding, it does take, more than just a sentence. And when I see you go back, you get 1 grade for this. So when we see that you go back and take our comments and kind of revamp it, you're not graded like, oh, you didn't do this. But on the other hand, we don't want you to wait till the end, because we do look at them every time and we kind of keep on the back end grades that will average at the end. So if that helps, I've kind of answered everyone that's had questions like that. And I know a lot of you say you're struggling, but just take the comments and go back and revamp it. And it's not going to ding you as long as, you show that you're working and doing that. But we do expect to see entries every week that we do the key point entry or the philosophy doc, because if not, then it's a 0 for that week, and that's what will get averaged at the end. You don't see those weekly grades, but we keep it on the back end because it is a total completion grade. So if that helps everyone, I hope.
I have a question about when we set them up, and like the very first week, and you said put all these questions in there, like all those titles.
Mm-hmm.
Was that just to set it up? Because the question, it says like conceptualize of learning online, goals for the learner, blah, blah, blah. Was that just to set up the document, or are we going to go back?
Yeah, it was just setting up the structure of the document, and then we'll go back in and fill in as we go the pieces. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to answer some of the questions that we haven't read the material yet.
Right. Okay, cool.
And answers come from other?
Yeah,
other than the
textbook. And on chat about can we or should we cite research sources to back up? And I say absolutely. I don't think that it's necessarily required because it's not such an academic paper that it needs to, like your example of it sounding like a thesis. I don't necessarily want you to cite sources to that degree, but if there's an assertion in there that you wonder about, like I wonder if there's research to back up that assertion, it doesn't hurt to go out and find a source to support it. It just makes your writing stronger. So, Julie, I don't know, when you're looking at them, I don't necessarily look for that as a requirement.
No, not at all. Not a requirement, but the only thing we ask is if you pull something in besides in the application area and we know it's not from the text, just make sure you cite it appropriately. So
yeah,
that's the big.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is seeing that you can apply it to your context. That's, the biggest thing I'm looking for. And of course that I can tell you read the material and have a basic understanding to be able to answer the question. Of course that's important. I would say too, don't take offense at all at comments made. The reason that we do it this way is to make it the best possible product at the end. So don't take offense at comments.
Well, like Dr. Baker said, there's so many times that you might think it's pointless now for your job or whatever, but you come back later when you are in a position that, this will be more applicable. And so it's good to have that, completed document that you might come back to later, even later in the program, depending on where you're at.
I like that we get, there's not a penalty, like you give us the feedback and we get to apply it, and it's not a one-shot deal. So I like getting to go back and refine the work, and I also appreciate not getting, I guess, to see the whole big picture to start with, because I think I'd be overwhelmed. So I like getting to work on it in chunks that feel manageable. So
good. Yeah, that's the whole. You're a good example of an adult learner.
And I don't say this every semester, but this semester you guys have done a really good job at going back like immediately and entering question, or updating your questions from the comments. So that's really impressive. As a group, you guys have just done an amazing job. And you guys always question, you're like, hey, I went in and updated. And so that's been good this semester. You guys have made it a lot easier with the grading because you're not doing everything at the end as far as the updates on the comments throughout. So that helps you as well, not having as much work to do later on when we get closer to the final and that sort of thing.
And I'll say too, you're going to get a chance to get feedback, not just from us throughout the semester, but at the end, right before you submit it, you'll have, I believe we do that in this class, right, Jules? You'll print it over to a partner to review. So you'll get a whole, the same exact questions, but you'll review from someone else's context, which will give you a whole new look at things. And so that'll be a neat chance for you to see how someone else's philosophy doc kind of came together and give them some good solid feedback before they submit it.
So we only give them feedback. We don't give them a grade or anything.
Yeah, you don't get to grade them.
Okay, good. Because this week's survey stressed me out about surveying the rest of my VoiceThread friends. I was like, oh my God, no. I was like, I can't.
That actually, because of feedback we got last year in this class, we gave everybody the opportunity to evaluate their teammates at the end, and the feedback was they wanted to do it as they went, so how your teammates are kind of feeling about your involvement. So
tattling on you.
Well, I hope not. I hope it's good constructive feedback, but
and we don't clear that with everyone, and it's not based on a grade. It's just so that we can more or less know if someone's slacking, or if they're, if the whole group is saying this one person is an issue, then we can reach out to them and say, hey, is there anything we can do to help and, help you be more successful. So it's not tattling, but it's just like with any kind of team environment, in real life and at work, then you have to use.
Also, I think the last time that we did the key point entries, there wasn't the survey, and I was the person who submitted it, I think at 11:57 p.m. on Sunday night. And so there wasn't a survey. And so for this one, when the survey came, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh, I was one of those people. But this week I was better at it, but it was still stressful. I was like, oh my gosh, and I was like really thinking about the questions. I was like, I hope nobody ever sees this because I don't want to give anybody like a 1 or a 2.
Well, we give you a chance to get used to the format before we, put the survey out. Like Dr. Baker said, it was just started something that we did last semester so that we could, we try to take your feedback and update the next semester or next class that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say one thing. I really like how involved you guys are and engaged and vocal. That's exactly the type of learning environment I think that you want in a class like this. So I appreciate that from all of you.
Are you guys liking the Google Plus? I see that you answer each other's questions a lot when you're having the same issue, and then you're also sharing a lot of resources, which I've been really impressed with as well. It's been I've loved some of the resources you've shared, so that's really great.
I like the Google Plus now that I know it's there. I didn't really find that one until this week. We put that activity on at the beginning, and then I never went back to it, and then I stumbled across it after we did the orientation scaffolding. I thought, well, I'm going to go click all the buttons and see what's there. So now I know it's there. It's useful.
Good.
That helped me out a lot in the voice thread because I was one of the people that didn't see the edit button.
Oh.
So as soon as I had that question, I went to Google Plus and saw like a whole bunch of people had it too. So I just tagged on my name to get my email in there.
See, I did the same thing that Sabrina did. I just kind of looked at it and, did the first initial part. And then I finally started going back into it to, like when I asked the question on how to get on here and, just different things I've seen, a lot of people have updated, put different slides or different things that we can use for our class. So.
Well, guys, we're coming up on 30 minutes, and I don't want to keep you too long, but I do want to make an announcement about the free course, which probably all of you took last summer or the summer before. If you didn't take the free class, I highly encourage you to take it again this summer. And registration is just open. So the other thing I wanted to ask is if you know of someone who should take the free course, if you would mind shooting me their email, I'll send them their registration link as well. And
what is the free course about again?
So it is, it's in the curriculum. It's EDTC 5338, and it's a free graduate course. So once you take it, make it be better. We put it. It goes on your transcript. So it's a 1 month course from May 28th to June 28th this year. And the URL, if you want to know more about it, is www.tarleton.edu/ESP/free course.
/ what?
Free course.
Oh, okay.
Will you say that again, Dr. Baker, and I'll type it in the chat. I'm sorry.
Yeah. www.tarleton.edu/ESP/free course.
Okay, it's in the chat for everyone, so you can grab.
Oh, okay, thank you.
If you haven't taken it, first sign up for it because you have to take it anyway if you're in the ID&T concentration, and so you might as well take it for free. And again, like if you have a colleague or someone that you think would benefit from it, then certainly send them the information and we'll get them registered for it. So I'm trying to talk Hannah into being a team lead. No pressure, Hannah, sorry. That's what I emailed you about today.
Well, if you look at the chat, you'll see that it's all good comments about the course, and that's what motivated some people to get into the program. So that's it's an amazing course. I took it a few years ago, and it was amazing. So before we do go, I want to get a picture of our little Brady Bunch style chat so that I can give everybody credit for this, and then we usually post it just to show the amazing options in Zoom. So if everybody wants to smile, I did this once and everybody was like not smiling or anything. So people were upset that their mouth was hanging open or something. So, all right, I'm going to count to 3. And then I do have to do the second screen because we have so many students that showed up. We have 2 screens of people. So ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do the next screen, and some of you will be overlapped, but that way I can get everyone in on it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then there's a phone number, and I'm not sure who this is. It's an 817 number. Phil, that was awkward. I'm sorry.
I'm Jennifer. It's Jennifer Beth.
Okay, all right. I'll put you down.
Thank you.
I saw Rachel too on the chat. Rachel's going to be a team lead as well. I hope, unless you've changed your mind, Rachel. I hope you haven't.
So I have a question about the course. It is an online course then, right?
Yeah, it's fully online. Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
And Tiffany, if you just go to that URL, that's where you register.
Right. Okay.
I've taken.
I can tell you that you can take it even if you go out of town. I was in Florida and taking that course 2 summers ago.
Yeah, I love to get
it's doable if you are going out of town over the summer.
Yeah, thank you for that, Kizzy. And I love getting pictures of people that are like on the beach, learning on the beach. Like that's what I love about online learning.
I've taken it multiple times and I've learned a ton every single time.
That's awesome. You'll have a lot to share as a team lead. All right. And Garrett just reminded everyone that registration opens, actually it opens March 27th, and Julie and I will be sending out your advising emails if you're within our concentration. So you'll get the list of courses and what to register for and all that kind of good stuff. So be on the lookout for that, probably the week of March 20th or so.
And if you're thinking about the free course, you won't register for that regularly. You'll register through this link, and then we'll have to do a sub form for the free course later. So that's always confusing for some people. So if you have financial aid, the free course does not count those 6 hours that you have to have. So it is additional, but it's completely free. That's why it doesn't count towards financial aid. So just keep that in mind, and we always have those questions later. So it's summer, so that's probably a good time to take 9 hours if you're doing it for financial aid. So hopefully that'll work out for everyone.
All right. Anything else for the good of the group before we break and have spring break?
I just want to say thank you to all of y'all.
Oh, thank you, Carmen. Yeah, y'all are a great group. All right. Well, as always, feel free to reach out to Julie or I anytime. We can always do a Zoom session if you're more comfortable with that, or phone calls. And I hope you enjoy your spring break.
You too.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.
All right, thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.